So let's talk about the test for marketability. This is the self-evaluation. Okay? So again, researching your competition. So first you want to say, who are my general competitors? Okay, so I have a pen here. Who would be in general, my competitor for a pen? So you say Bic, Pentel, Schaefer, all these names. So in reality, those are my direct competitors. Now, what the thing is, I have to think about is who offers a similar solution. Okay? So think from the customer's perspective, what are they trying to do? They want to write something down. Okay? So in this case, I'm competing against pencils, markers, crayons, PDAs, laptops, everything. Okay? So that's the general market in terms of competition. Okay? Because people will find ways to get around things. Some people say, I'm not going to pay for that. I'll just do it this way. And they kludge some things together. That's just the way we are. Now, we can think about who are your specific competitors. This is where we talk about Schaefer and Pentel and Bic and all that kind of things. Okay? So you would look at what are the specific product features that are similar. Are there similar patents? Okay? So this is all part of your research. And what products will your invention replace? So there's certain technologies. So if you can imagine, let's say you came up with the first DVD. You say, all right, my competition is not necessarily just videotape, but maybe the laser discs and all these other different technologies out there that I'm trying to replace. How are they doing it? Okay, what can I learn from these competitors? What mistakes did they make, perhaps? Now, essentially, the process is you're going to collect the information, organize the data, and then evaluate it. Okay? And the key here is you're going to use this to create your own product advantages. Okay? It'll help you also understand what's their target market, and maybe they've already uncovered really the best market. Okay? And also pricing. It will give you an idea of what the pricing should be close to. And one method that I use, there's a number of methods, search for competitors, go to their websites. We know about Google, Yahoo, Alibaba. Has anyone heard of Alibaba.com? A couple of people. I mean, this website was recently sold to Yahoo for $1 billion, if you can imagine that. They've got listings of mostly Chinese and Asian market, but there's a lot of suppliers you could potentially use, but also you can think of these are potentially competitors as well. Alibaba.com. Business.com, Hoover's again, Patent Office again. You can do some research, of course. So what I would do is I would go, let's say, into Google, and I say, all right, screwdriver and tool. And here, things pop up, Bosch, Snap-on, different types of places you can find, that information. You go to their websites, see what they're doing. How are they trying to market their product? Who are they selling to? Okay? And then you want to just create a log. You want to say, all right, what was the name of the company? What kind of product? What was the price? And maybe what are some of the benefits and features that were important that they put in. Now, keep in mind, not every company will go through the process that I'm talking about. Some people, they'll just wing it too. So you have to be careful. Just because they're doing it one way, don't necessarily just copy everything that they're doing. Because you don't know if they're crazy or what. Okay? Okay, let's talk about benefits. Okay. Now, we talked about most of the people here have some kind of consumer type product. Okay. Now, if you do have a business type product, again, companies are interested in revenue. So your product has to show that it can create revenue for them. Okay. Or reduce their costs. Or improve their efficiency. Or retain customers. All kinds of, they buy software products, they buy customer relationship software, all kinds of things to help them either generate more sales or be more efficient. Now, benefits for consumers, what are we looking for? Sure, we like to make money. Okay. Save money. Save time is very important, especially if you're working with, let's say, entrepreneurs, other people who, time is everything to them. Time is money. Safety, pleasure, again, if you have a product that will help them save their lives, make their life easier, they're all for it. Okay, health, safety, peace of mind, anything that will get them to know that their life is going to be better. And recognition and prestige. Okay. So what does Nike sell? Do they sell, rubber shoes? What are they really providing? I'm not picking on anyone who's got Nikes here. So what they're selling is they're really like self-esteem. They're selling recognition, prestige. That's why all the commercials are about, look at Mike or look at Tiger Woods or all these people. You don't hear them saying, well, it's got 3.8 inches of rubber and these and now that kind of. That's not what they're all about. It's that if I have their shoes, I will be just like Michael Jordan or whoever the hot athlete is at that time. Okay, that's what they're selling. They don't even make the sneakers themselves. Nike is a marketing company. Okay, it's a different mindset. What does my product offer? What are the benefits it provides? And maybe provide a list of features that point to those benefits. Okay, if you're not really sure, you say, all right, I've got all these features. What benefits might come of that? Okay, because again, people buy based on the benefits that are derived from using your product. And not only do you have to have benefits, but you have to outsmart your competition. So if you have a product that provides fun or enjoyment, it's got to be more enjoyment, more fun than another product. If you have a game, it's got to be better than what's out there. Okay? If it's easy to use, it's got to be easier to use than the other products. Okay? If you say it's longer lasting, then it's got to be longer lasting than the competition. I just bought some batteries, and obviously you have Energizer, and they're always, they got the bunny rabbit and all that stuff, and Duracell. So I see one that says, it's 900 milliamps, one, 1,000 milliamps. So they're always battling on that particular feature, which is going to last longer. Now, what I like to try to have people understand is that you want to at least have two competitive advantages as you're coming out. Because if you just have one, then maybe they could duplicate that, and all of a sudden they have the same advantage. Now you're competing on price. Okay, the last thing you want to do is just compete on price, because you just keep getting beat down, and all of a sudden you're not making enough money. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. Profit potential. Okay, again, this is a marketing function. Revenue minus COG. What's COGS mean? Cost of goods sold, right? Minus expenses equals your net profit. So revenue is selling price times number of units, right? So how do you say, what's my selling price going to be? Sometimes that's very difficult. Now what you can do initially, if you're doing some analysis, you say, oh, I'll use what my competitors are using right now, and maybe within a range of 10 to 20%. Okay? People will buy a product that offers enough value. They'll spend between 10 and 20% compared to an existing product out there. Your price has to be enough to cover your costs and have enough left over for profit. And I see this mistake too. People come out and they say, all right, we're going to, even a business. There was these two ladies, they had like a gourmet cooking business. And you run the numbers and they say, look, the total amount of profit they were going to make was like $60,000. And you say, oh, it might be great. Divide that by 2, each is making 30. And meanwhile, they just gave up jobs that they were making 70. So this business didn't really make sense unless they were going to do some other things. Okay? Determine number of units. Again, that's hard to do sometimes. Okay? Now, what I'll do if it's, let's say, a hardware product, I might go down to Home Depot and start talking to people. Which one's selling? How many? Is this like every day, once in a while? Start talking to their managers and at least get some ideas. And again, if it's a public company, you can look at their annual reports. They have 10K reports that you can look at that has all this data for you. The number of units you sell is going to really be based on your marketing and sales budget. So, if your marketing budget is only going to be $100, you're not going to get that much word out there. So it's going to be hard to justify that you're going to be selling that many. Again, there's a direct correlation between how much money you spend on marketing and how much you sell. The goal is that your marketing pays for your revenue, okay, and therefore much more than many times over, hopefully. Okay. Your revenue is based on your selling price. Now, if you're selling direct, that is your revenue. If you have a $20 product, that $20, if you're selling direct, is what your revenue is. Now, if you're selling to, let's say, a retailer or through a distributor, your revenue is, let's say, $10. So keep that in mind. Some people make that mistake. Okay. Now, here's an example, basic example. So let's say you have, you're going to sell 20,000 units, and let's say the selling price is $15. Total revenue, $300,000. Cost of goods sold, so you have $3 per unit, and you sold 20,000, and you've got $60,000 in cost of goods sold. So your gross profit, your revenue minus your cost of goods sold, is $240,000. Let's say your startup expenses are $28,000, and let's say you're spending $1,000 a month on different marketing campaigns. 12 and 28 is 40. So your gross profit, or sorry, your net profit now is $200,000. And let's compare that to, let's say you only sold 1,000 units. Okay. Now your selling price is the same. So now your revenue is $15,000. Your cost of goods, 3 times 1,000, 3,000. Now your gross profit is $12,000. Now, but your costs are still the same. Okay, so now I'm in the red, $28,000. Okay, so these are the kind of things you have to do initially. Now, what I do is I'm working with people. I'll do a spreadsheet and do some pricing and profit scenarios. And you say, all right, what if the price was $40 or $50? If we sold 10,000 or 100,000, what's my net profit going to be? And some people I've worked with, as we go through the numbers, and I'll say, you know what? You're going to have to sell 50,000 units just to break even. Okay, is that possible? Is this the kind of business you want to be in? And I'll say, well, maybe not. And then we move on to some other project. Okay. So what you want to do is, all right, here's my test. So if you look on your flow chart again, you say, all right, I just did the self-evaluation. Okay, now there's the question mark. Okay, does my product idea solve a problem, a particular need or want? Okay, does the product idea offer any benefits? Yes or no? Do you know who your competitors are? And does your product idea have advantages, over the other products? Okay. And does it make sense financially? Okay. So you would answer yes or no. Hopefully you would get yeses to all these. If so, then you move on to the next phase. Okay, if not, then you say, all right, what do I need to work on here? Okay, then I go back and fix certain things. If you're not sure, maybe you can move on, maybe not.